Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my Farming Simulator Let's Play series here on Haut Beyleron. I am CWATTYESO, and as you can see, our Massey Ferguson and our little helper is still doing the spade process on our fields. He's had a little bit of an issue with the field shapes and obviously reacting to objects. If anybody wanted to know whether AI helpers were any better at field work in FS22 compared to FS19 and previous farm sim games, I hope this answers your question. They're not all that better. Definitely for us PC guys, they are no substitute for courseplay. Courseplay workers are way more intelligent than these guys. But they do a job that he's working through. If I have to just come and tidy up a few little bits on a field after he has done the majority of it, so be it. That's okay. What I'm going to be doing now I finished fertilizing all the fields, I'm going to be doing my rock collecting. I've also unloaded all the fertilizer out of the Bradle. I bought way more fertilizer than I needed. But I did actually get pallets this time, which compared to the previously noted issue with the lime spreader, when I emptied the lime spreader, I didn't get any lime. Right, we are lime spreading then, folks. We are stone picking. Taking some getting used to the gearboxes on this tractor. The Massey doesn't have gears. The Massey's auto. So the Massey's a lot easier to drive. This fella is actually requiring me to shift. Turn around in the road. Hopefully, this seems fairly quick. It shouldn't take us too long to get the stones off the field, even with the limited working width of only like 2.4 meters. I love the sound the rock picker make. Now I'm pretty sure you can hand this over to a worker as well, so I could assign a worker to do the rock picking for me. I hope if I lowered it. There we go. Got a helper hired. Let him go and get the rest of the rocks for me. Take a screenshot for the thumbnail. Because we've got the Massey in the background as well. So this guy will drive up and down quite happily. He's at 11% full at the minute. We just need to get 15 gears. Plunk, plunk, plunk. They're in there somewhere, mate. They're in there somewhere. As people often tell me when I'm driving and I'm grinding the gears in the car. They're in there somewhere. Does he not notice that I've already done this bit of the field? I'm not entirely sure what you're doing, mate. You're working the opposite of what I want you to do. Perhaps if we start in from the other end of the field. We'll see. We'll see if he actually zigzags his way up and down the field. I would like him to. I really would. Because then I could go and finish off the ploughing. I'm a bit confused as to what he's doing. He seems like he's just driving up and down on one strip of the field. We'll keep an eye on him. The AI traffic is kind of looking at him in the same confused manner that I am, thinking, what is he playing at? Okay, he's doing it correctly now. He's doing it correctly now. He's just doing a very extravagant turning maneuver. He's not quite He's not quite driving as I would expect him to. You all right in there? He looks like Sheamus from WWE. You all right, Sheamus? You look a bit confused, pal. Like, you weren't expecting to find yourself on a farm in the south of France. But, you know. Here we are. Right, I trust him. This fella, I do not trust. So let's focus a bit more on it, shall we? Looking good. Looking good. Right, let's go sort out the bit at the top. Obviously, the AI detects the house as a bit of a issue here. Hence why it's stopped well short of the field. Again, one of the things I'm looking forward to is when modders come out with one of the like the many different sleep trigger mods, like this, like just like a sleep pillow or something. Because again, if the farmhouses in the game aren't actually functional, you can't go inside them, and that, there's very little reason to place a farmhouse on a farm. So if I'm in start from scratch or farm manager mode, I wouldn't be placing a farmhouse. I would just place some sleep trigger that enables me to obviously skip time in advanced days. But I wouldn't use a big building that serves absolutely zero purpose. And that would probably be better for the AI workers in their current form when working fields. Because they're not going to be seeing the collision boxes on a great huge building when you only really require a little trigger. There we go. That field has been spaded. Even though this field's currently cultivated and is actually ready for seeding, it's not been ploughed. So I am going to go over it with the spade. People say, well, that's a bit redundant because it's cultivated, it's ready for seeding, but unfortunately, because the field needs to be ploughed, that would impact our crop yield, our yield on our next crop. So it's better to plough the field, because you don't want to lose the yield penalty for not ploughing. And whilst we've got the equipment rented, we might as well do it. It shouldn't take too long. Okay, Mr. Rock Picker is quite happy running up and down with his rocks. When he gets full, we will need to empty him, and then, like I say, we will need a a trailer then to take the rocks and transport them. No field found? What are you on about? Okay, AI worker does not like this field for some reason. Maybe because it's already cultivated. Which means I'm going to have to do this field myself. I'm not going to be able to use a worker on it. Means I can't go back to the rock picker and keep an eye on him. And you see, I already prepared the bottom of the field. I did a couple of little headlands at the bottom of the field just to stop the worker from freaking out by the trees. And that looks like it was a complete waste of my time. As is apparently the fact that I seem to have missed a bit here. So yeah, you can't spade. The worker will not spade over the top of a cultivated field. Okay. That's an issue. Like I say, it's going to force me. Yeah, he won't. He just won't do it. Our options are a little bit limited then, as the moment, as to what we can do. Because I'm going to have to drive this vehicle. I'm going to have to drive this vehicle and do this task. Which means that as soon as that guy gets full on the other field with the stone picker, I'm probably going to have to jump, temporarily stop what I'm doing here, jump over there, and deal with that. But for now, we'll just keep rock picking. We'll keep spading. Like I say, it's better for me. And it'll be better for our next yield, our next crops, to do this. Technically, this is all the same game day. We haven't actually advanced any days in game yet. This is still 20. This is like 1:30 on day one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the time scale up a little bit. I'm going to make it 5 times. 5 times 3 days is what Giants recommend a single player plays at. It strikes a fine balance between allowing you to get your work done and obviously getting through the different months fairly quickly. So I'm going to increase the time scale a bit because we do want to get to different days, because obviously next day in game will be September for me. early September, and we want to be like planting and stuff. Ideally, we want to be doing some seeding, getting our crops seeded. And then once our crops are seeded, the only thing we will need to do after that is weed. We'll have to weed the crop when the weeds grow. We'll then be able to start looking at some contracts. If there's different contracts on the map offering us the chance to do some different tasks, harvesting and such, then we can start looking at contracting. If we can maybe get we might even do some animals. We might throw in a chicken pen somewhere. A chicken pen would be novel. Because then we can start producing eggs, which is something we can then look to sell throughout the year, which should give us a nice income stream. I'm also debating the field there on my left, on this vehicle's left, the one nearest the farmhouse. I'm actually debating whether or not I might plant grass on that and use that as a grass field. We can then mow it for grass, and then we could produce hay throughout the year, which, although we don't have a use for at the moment because we don't have any animals that eat hay, we could sell the hay, which would make a nice bit of money for us. We could also collect the hay and put it in the bunker. We could then compact and ferment that and make silage. Would then allow us to sell the silage, which might be a good way for us to, again, make quite a bit of income throughout the year, whilst actually waiting for our fields to grow. I mean, this is our largest field, the one I'm on now, of the 3 that we start with. This field I'm probably going to plant, looking at the calendar, the seasonal calendar, I'm probably going to plant canola on this field. And then on the field where the stone picker is currently operating, that could be wheat or barley quite happily. We could do a wheat or barley harvest on there. I don't typically know if there is a difference much in prices between wheat and barley. Wow, some places are offering $700, and then some places are only offering like 400. So wheat is definitely the highest price between the two at the moment, because wheat has a sell point there of 812. So I've got 11,000 litres of wheat. I would maybe be tempted to see if I could find that place, sell my wheat that I've currently got. Now that would of course impact my ability then to have chickens, because if I sell the wheat, I will not be able to feed any chickens going forward. But it would give us a little nice injection of cash right at the start of the game here. 11,000 litres a week. It's not a lot, but, you know, getting $800 for it would be quite nice. That would be like 8,800. We'd get like 8,800 for that. One of the things I did briefly notice as I was just going through the screen there was that, according to my thing, some of this field is not completely have I managed to miss it again? I've done it now. That's got rid of it. Right. I think what the game is trying to tell me is that I'm not overlapping. I'm missing little bits. I need to maybe do a little bit more of a conscious effort when I'm with this machine. Overlap. Which does effectively reduce the working width quite a bit if I'm having to overlap to make sure we don't leave little bits that aren't ploughed. Most people probably wouldn't bother. Most people wouldn't mind if they missed a tiny spot here or a tiny spot there. I, however, come from playing on multiplayer servers with Mr. Helgi, who is an absolute perfectionist. He's not happy if a field is not 100% perfect, you know. There can be no gaps. There can be no missed bits. So, as a result of playing with him for the last 2.5 years in Farming Simulator 19, I'm also kind of the mindset now that you must not miss bits. You cannot afford to leave spots on your field because it does impact. It will reduce your maximum yield potential. MYF, MYP, you know? Not MVP, MYP, your maximum yield potential. Every field has a maximum amount that it will give every single different crop in the game. If you do everything perfect. The minute you skip step or cut corners, that yield amount decreases. And you will not achieve maximum yieldage. I'm going to go check on the rock picker guy in a minute. Because I've got the slightly worrying feeling that he's just driving up and down on the same spot. Because he doesn't actually seem to be getting any closer, does he? To me. I thought he'd be working towards me. You know? But from what I'm seeing, he's either just driving up and down the one lane in the middle of the field, because he's not getting close to me. We'll go check on him. I think that's probably the best strategy. We'll just give him a rest for a second. Okay, he's at 43% full on his rock picking duties. He is working his way across the field. I just think with the way he's doing the turns, it's probably taking him longer, I would imagine, to do this because of how he's doing his turns. As you can see, he's making quite drastic reversing. Now he's doing a circle, and then he's going to drop, and then he's going to reverse. And plus, I've not given him the best tractor because this tractor has got the gears, so he's having to change gear all the time. He probably would be much faster in the Massey Ferguson because he's not going to have to worry about changing gear in this because it's auto. It's literally drive, neutral, reverse. Everything else is handled by the auto transmission and the onboard computers in the tractor. That's the bit I'm having a little bit of weird time myself adjusting to. The fact I've turned off the manual gears. I've gone back into the settings and turned on auto gears. But weirdly, in that Valtra, you can still manually change gear as well as it will do it automatically. What I've noticed again in the Valtra, as I'm driving the Valtra, I can't zoom in and out because I'm actually changing the gears when I'm trying to zoom in and out. And then that's causing a problem because the automatic gearbox is then fighting me and trying to fight against me. Because it doesn't want me changing gears because it's like trying to handle it auto. So although I've got that lovely Valtra over there, it might be a case of that tractor gets disposed of as well, and we go for another one with an auto gearbox like this Massey, and then we can because this Massey, because it's literally only got drive, neutral, reverse as the gear options. As I'm driving, when I'm pressing the up and down buttons on my controller on the D-pad, I'm able to zoom in and out perfectly fine, which is how I want the game to be. When I'm driving a vehicle, that's the response I expect. When I'm pressing up and down on the D-pad, I'm expecting to zoom in and out. As I say, when driving the Valtra behind me, it's changing gears, even though it's supposed to be auto transmission now. I guess the vehicles with the manual gearbox, even when set to auto, you don't lose the ability for the player to be able to interfere with the gears. So unfortunately, I don't get the same camera controls in the Valtra. I can't zoom in and out whilst I'm driving. I have to stop. I was hoping at this stage, as it's nearly now 5 to 3 in the afternoon, I was kind of hoping that we would have more than one field rock picked. Unfortunately, that's not the case, which means seeding's going to be a problem for me. Because I'm not going to be able to seed all 3 fields in one go. Because I'm going to be waiting on the rock picker. Forked out some money in wages for the rock picker guy. And people might say, why rock pick? Why not just use the roller to bury the rock back, push the rocks back into the ground, push them back below the surface, which is a perfectly valid gameplay option in Farming Simulator 22. You could use the roller, put the rocks back in the field, back in the ground, so they're not in the way when you come to do your planting and seeding and that. The reason I'm choosing to go down the rock picking road is because once you've got all the rocks picked, you can actually sell the rock. You can take them and sell them and get a little bit of money for them. And again, money's nice to have. Anything that brings you income is nice to have. Especially in the first year of the game when you have limited sources of income. Because you have limited fields. You don't have animals. I'm going to go up this edge this time. I'm just basically going to start driving in a circle or an ellipse. It might be a little bit quicker. Saves me having to shunt about backwards and forwards, reversing and turning. I think that would be the quickest way for the rock picker to operate, actually. If it did like a spiral around the field, working towards the centre, that might be the quickest way for it to have done the job, especially with the way it is doing the turning for each row. But it's all looking very nice. I have to say, this game does look very nice. I've been impressed with the visuals of this game. And like I say, the fact that there is no noticeable circle of death around the tractors. If you followed my video for PC players on how to make your game look pretty, and how to basically extend your rendering distances, your rendering distance, your view distance, your foliage distance, and all that good stuff beyond the game's limits, the menu limits, you can make your game look, this game look very, very pretty on PC and still maintain a good performance. and a high frame rate, which of course is key. And I've completely done the opposite of what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to drive around the field in my spiral method, and instead I've done a turn and I'm now working my way down the next row. So I guess I'm going to work counterclockwise this time, or anti-clockwise. But yeah, it's first time using this spade tool to do ploughing, or an alternative to ploughing. As I say, when I played the game on my live stream yesterday, on release day, I did plough these fields. I used the blue Lemkin plough, the 4.9 metre plough. I had to have a big, powerful tractor to pull it, which is one of the reasons why I've not gone down the road on this Let's Play, because we don't have a big, powerful tractor available to us. And to get something like the 40 plough platinum, the 8 metre, you know, the 8 metre subsoiler. My mouse is moving on my desk, I've just noticed, and the camera keeps moving strangely. Did you notice that? The camera just started ever so slowly sliding up towards the top. And I was like, why is the camera moving? I'm not touching the right analog stick. It's because my mouse was sliding on my desk. I've got it on a very narrow strip of my desk between the edge of the desk and the keyboard, because if I can't put the mouse on the right hand side of my keyboard, because that's where I've got my 2 Stream Decks set up. Plus, because I've got my Thrustmaster steering wheel in front of me where I'm sat on my right hand side at the moment, to operate the mouse I have to reach over the steering wheel, but then I have to go under my microphone arm, my mic arm. So I can't operate my mouse in the position where you would typically have a mouse. And because my mouse is not a left-handed mouse, I can't put it on the left-hand side of the keyboard to operate it. Plus I also happen to have my Nostromo keypad there, one-handed gaming keypad. So the only place I can put my mouse at the minute is on the very edge of my desk between, as I say, the edge of the desk and my keyboard. And unfortunately that does mean it does tend to slide. It does tend to slide off and sometimes fall on the floor. So if you hear any great big clunks or clanks or clonk as I'm recording these videos, it's probably because my mouse has slipped off the edge of the desk. That will usually be accompanied by obviously the camera going haywire in the game and probably ending up looking up at the sky, and people will think I've probably fallen over. Yes. You know what would be, what I think would be really nice now would be if we could have some bigger ones of these. If we could have some bigger spades, you know, 8 meters, 12 meters, 18 meters of these plough alternatives, that would be very nice. Would be very nice. But give us some bigger versions of this in the game, please. Either giants or mod makers. Because this isn't too bad. A way of, like I say, compared to ploughing using those angular ploughs, this is quite a nice chilled out method. It's obviously a bit slow at 5 kilometers an hour. It's not the fastest piece of machinery in the world. But we are working along, ticking the boxes. Like I say, if you look at the map, we have slowly removed needs ploughing from pretty much all of our fields at this point. Yes, once this is finished, we can take this piece of equipment back to the store, and we can return it because we'll have ploughed all the fields at that point. I would be very tempted then maybe to release another rock picker just to get the rock picking done faster. Because I can obviously pull one with this. Because I would like to get all the rocks done off all 3 fields, and then I can get the seeder. We can get the seeding done. So yes, I am very inclined, once I've returned this, to quickly lease another rock picker. Just to help me get these jobs done. Like I say, my focus is always, and when playing with seasons in FS19, was always ensure that my own field work was focused on my own field work, get all my own field work done, and then once all my stuff was done, and I'm just waiting then for harvest, that's when I go start looking at contracts. If people are wondering why I'm not doing contracts right now, that is why. I tend to focus on doing my own fields first, getting all my work done, prioritizing my farm, and then once I'm done, that's when we go and start offering our services to the other farmers on the map and seeing if we can't earn some money working for some of them as subcontractors, you know. I mean, with the amount of fertilizer that I've got, having emptied the Bradle, fertilizing contracts might be a thing we focus on first to try and use up some of that material that I've bought and paid for. So yeah, get the Bradle. Let's get off on our travels with the Bradle, fertilizing as many fields as we can. Harvest contracts, I would be a little bit reluctant to maybe undertake harvest contracts at the moment because of the fact that there is that bug in the game with the contract where some of them can't be completed because there is a glitch, there's an issue in the game currently, and the contracts don't get anywhere near 100% complete even after you've harvested everything, sold everything. So harvest contracts I will probably avoid at the moment, which is a shame because they can be quite fun to do. It's just not worth the risk of me spending the time driving around doing a contract and then we can't complete it, can't get paid. That would be an absolute disaster and a complete waste of my time and a complete waste of your time watching. For that to happen. Seeding, sowing contracts, yes, I would be happy to do those. I would need to think about the seeder, and if Farming Simulator 22 follows in the same vein as the previous Farm Simulator games when doing sowing contract or planting contract, where the farmer is only basically paying you for seeding, I'll need to make sure I don't load any fertilizer into the seeder because that would be a waste of fertilizer that we're not being paid for. So I'll need to make sure if I'm doing seeding and planting contracts, I'm using a seeder that either doesn't have fertilizer built in, doesn't have fertilizing capability, or if it does have fertilizing capability, I don't fill it with fertilizer. Because you can use a seeder and planter without fertilizer in it, However, if you have fertilizer in the seeder and you run out of fertilizer, it stops seeding planting at that point. You can restart it and carry on then just seeding. But like I say, if I'm going to be doing contracts, I'm not going to want to use any fertilizer at all, because the farmers don't pay you for fertilizing. And typically speaking, if you watch the map, if you look at the map screen, when you have seeded and done the seeding, the contract, it will show, oh, you've fertilized. When you accept that contract, the game will update the whole field to the next stage, and you'll actually see the fertilizer disappear, because AI farmers don't use fertilizer. They don't use lime on their fields. They don't use herbicide. So you'll never see a farmer's field showing fertilizing states and stuff in the map view, because they remove all that. Which explains why the contracts fail at the moment. The harvesting contracts fail because the AI farmers aren't getting the yield bonuses from lime spreading, from fertilizing, from weed removing. Their yields are being penalized because they don't do those things. And because their yields are penalized, they're not actually reaching the trigger points for the contract, so you can't complete them. Tell you what, it's starting to, I don't, is it, it might be me, at this point. Certainly my experience from playing yesterday, and I don't know if it, again, it seems a bit odd, because this map is the south of France, southwest of France, or southeast of France, southeast, isn't it? French southeast, Mediterranean area, basically, is that it seems to get dark very early in game now. You know, here we are in August, it's 4:20 in the afternoon, and it's starting to get a bit dark. Like, the sun is setting, it's starting to look a little bit gloomy. And I've noticed, I noticed in my live stream yesterday, I was going to sleep very early in the game compared to FS19, because it was getting to the point where I was like, I can't really see what I'm doing, even with my headlights on. And yet it was like only like 5 PM, 6 PM in game. I'm not sure what other people are finding. In at different times of the year, is it lighter? I know in with the seasons mod in FS19, sunrise and sunset was at different times of the day throughout different times of the year. It did change, as you would expect. In the winter, sunrise was a lot later in the morning, and sunset was a lot earlier in the afternoon, which meant your actual hours of daylight was a lot less than in the summer month, when the sun would rise a lot earlier and it would set a lot later in the day. And I assume it's the same thing in FS22 with the Giants version, the Giant seasonal cycles and that. I just find it a little bit, as I say, I'm just finding it a little bit odd that it's getting dark so me in the day. Like, it's 4:30 and it's getting to the point where I'm thinking I'm going to need to put my headlights on soon. And, you know, in 2 hours time, I'm going to be thinking I just need to sleep an advanced time, because typically, if you're new to the channel, you're new to me as a farm simulator viewer. I mean, I would hope you've gone back in between watching these episodes of FS22 and watched some of my FS19 stuff now that you've found the channel. But if you are new here, you will probably I should probably point out that I don't tend to do any farming at night. I don't tend to work through the evening in the darkness, because purely from a video perspective, you won't see a lot, because when I record the videos, the software that records and captures the game, when it processes and encodes the video, the video gets a little bit darker. When that video then goes through my editing software and then is rendered out into a video that can be uploaded to YouTube, it gets a little bit darker again via the processing method. And then when the video is uploaded to YouTube, because that YouTube re-encodes and reprocesses the videos from the format I upload in, whatever format YouTube uses, when they encode and process the video, they get really dark. The brightness and the gamma and the contrast and everything really takes a hit then. So if I'm playing and recording at night, by the time I've uploaded the video to YouTube and you guys are sitting down to watch it, you can't see what's happening on screen. So typically, as soon as it's dark, as soon as night falls, I go and sleep in game and we start again the next morning at sunrise once the farm is, and I typically don't start dead on sunrise because it's still very dark. I normally wait a couple of hours after sun up. So I typically start my farming days around 7 AM in the morning, 8 AM in the morning, and we go from there. And say typically we work till probably about 6 PM in the evening. I generally don't do a lot of work after 6 PM. Certainly not field work. There's the odd occasion where I do things around the farm in previous videos in FS19. I've done things like the animals, gone round, checked all the animals, made sure they're okay. Or I've done gone check production buildings, factories, made sure they're all working correctly and outputting their products, you know. But generally speaking, field work tends to be limited between maybe 7, 8 AM in the morning and 6 PM in the evening. Very rarely do I go beyond that. So we're going to stick to those rules throughout this series, I think. Going to limit my field time to daylight hours only. And we're not going to make a lot of use of headlights and things. Like the stone picker upper man. Has just about finished that field. In the last little while, he's caught up very handily. Oh, I've missed a little bit, look. Right, we need to go find that, and then we can take this machine back to the not that far wide. I think it's here. I think it's in front of me there. Got it. Right. We'll take this back to the store, this machine. We don't need it anymore, so we can return that. I need to decide whether or not I'm going to get another rock picker or whether I'm just going to carry on with the one that we have got. I will need to get a trailer. Because we don't have a trailer, and I need to be able to A, transport that wheat to the sell point, and the straw that we've got in the hayloft, I need to get that sold as well. And we are then going to need, as I say, to transport the rocks as well from the rock crush, from the rock picker, and get rid of those and sell those off when we reach that point. So that machine can go back. I appreciate Armand Motors for the lease and rental of this equipment. Oh yeah, let's have a quick look. Trailer wise, what can we get? What do we want to get? We had that one which was 8,000 litres. I then have used one of these ones in my live stream. The little problem with those is it's a little bit high for the no, it's the auger wagon I had the problem with. Don't confuse matters. Ignore what I was just saying. Was it one of those we had? Obviously, Stevie's brought out a couple of little mods already, which I've got installed. I'm tempted to get one of these. At maybe 12,000 litres. Which I think would be okay. It's 13.5 grand. I know people say 12,000 litres is not a lot, but it's more than what we had in the previous machine, in the previous trailer. So I'm happy with that. I like the fact it doesn't have the front axle. That's the most important thing. It doesn't have the front axle, so I can actually maneuver and park this wherever I want. I have issues reversing trailers with front axles. Not just in game, but in real life as well. I never could reverse a trailer with a front axle. With a front steering axle. Hated them. Hated them with a passion. Much prefer trailers to be like this. Where you can basically, with the tractor, shunt it and maneuver it wherever you want. Basically. Right, so what we're going to do, we're gonna get the wheat, and then in the next video, the next episode of the series, I will be, I will sell the 11,000 litres of wheat, so thereby we are scrapping the chicken plan. I might actually sell the silo because I have plans. So anyway, that is done. What we need to do is obviously get Mr. Rock Picker Man, who is 81% full. Bring him over here. How do I empty Mr. Rock Picker Man? Unload here. So yeah, there's Rock Picker Man emptied. Right, now we get to start him up on the next field. Woo. So we'll let him start on there. As I say, will be going to quickly sell the wheat in the next video. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I will see you all in the next one very soon. For now, don't forget to leave your likes on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already doing so. And make sure you share this video with everyone you see fit, everywhere you see fit. Like I say, we are on a bit of a mission. We are hoping, you know, I'm hoping to get to 1,000 subs on the channel very, very soon. And I promised in my live stream on Twitch yesterday that the minute the YouTube channel hits 1,000 subs, I will do another giveaway where I will give some lucky winner, some lucky person, a copy of Farming Simulator 22 on PC with the Year 1 DLC, the Year 1 Season Pass. So folks, if you want to stand a chance of getting a copy of the game, if you don't have the game already and you would like the game on PC, if maybe you're a console player currently and you would like maybe try the game on PC but you don't want to go out and buy it on PC, then obviously let's try and get to 1,000 subs on the channel. Everybody, if you know someone that likes Farm Sim who isn't subscribed to the channel, get them to subscribe. It doesn't cost a penny, and I will obviously, the sooner we hit 1,000 subs, the sooner I can give away the copy of the game and the season pass. So yeah, that's your call to action then, everybody, for today's video. Let's try and get to 1,000 subs. I'm going to deliver this wheat into this sell point up here, and then we're done for today. And I'll try as well, I'm going to try as well in the next couple of videos, try and get the video runtime down a little bit. I know these first 3 videos in the series have all been incredibly long. This one's gone over an hour, but I will try and shorten the runtime a little bit in the future for everybody. Make it a little bit easier for you all. Okay. That's something. Okay, folks, we're not selling the wheat. So, take care. Catch you in the next video, everybody. Goodbye for now.